Hello everyone, Argsy here. Welcome back to Elm Creek, our Farming Simulator 22 Let's Play series where I'm generally just having a bit of a play around. Nothing set in stone, we're just experimenting with different things and seeing how it all works. Now if you caught the live stream on the weekend, you would have seen we ploughed a lot of our fields and we also got this area here all mowed. We bought a mower, we had a baler already, and we've bought this bale wrapper. We mowed all this, had 16 silage bales off that, so they are all sitting down on the trailer. We loaded them obviously, and they're all sitting down there and fermenting. So as soon as they are done, we will run down and get them sold. Now with that grass gone, the plan was to enlarge that field, so I'm going to get back up there once we've taken this back down to the shed. Head back up there and we will make a start on getting that ploughed up. Now other things we need to do today, I might get the lime spreader, might lease a lime spreader to get some lime applied to our fields, those that need it. But the other thing I'd also like to do is I want to try out the production chains, or at least the greenhouses, and have a little bit of a play around with them. I know a few others have done it already, but I haven't even watched any videos, haven't seen anyone else do it, so I'm going to be finding out as we go how a lot of that works. I was hoping that was going to fit in there, but looks like it's a little bit too high to make the use of this little shed. Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, we'll have to park it somewhere else, which is a bit of a shame. But as I was saying, we are going to set up some greenhouses and use those as a bit of a source of income. We are obviously in September, so we are heading into winter. We are not going to have too much to do until we can get some crops planted. I don't want to spend too much money though either, because part of the plan is to buy the soybean field, which is just over the other side from the farm. This field here, field number 57, it is almost ready to harvest, almost on its last growth stage there, and we need $372,000 for that. So we'll only leave us just under $50,000, just over $50,000, I'm sorry, to set up the greenhouses. So long as we don't spend too much, should be good to go. It does mean all of our other equipment's going to have to be leased though. We're not going to be able to buy anything until we've managed to make some money off our crops that we have in storage and our silage bales. So after that long-winded introduction and explanation of what we're doing, let's go and get this field ploughed. Alright, so we're in the corner here. I've brought up the mini map so I can see our bearings we're heading along. I want to head along about 270. Now I do want to make this field wider as well, down further. There's not much point having the grass around the outside. So I think we turn on create fields. Looks like we're heading right on that 270, 270.1. That should just about do it. Now I don't know, I know we had a bit of issue picking up some of this grass on the edge of the fields, so I don't actually know where the edge of the ground we own is. It does seem to be ploughing though. I thought it wouldn't have allowed us to plough up any area that isn't ours. So we'll just carry along here, run around the edge of the field. We're going to make the field both bigger in terms of taking up this grass area along here, and also we'll make it about as wide as we can go down on all the headlands. One thing I do find with the way giants have set up the fields is they are all very square, even the shape they are in, when they could be a little bit more interesting, they go for the square field. So let's make the most of the land we own. There's no point just mowing these little pieces all the time and turning them into silage. We may as well make them as productive as possible, and we will do that by turning them into some crop ground. Now, just as those rocks appeared, interestingly enough, and I don't know, I haven't done a test on this any further, we didn't get any rocks appearing in here on this field, which we used a worker to plough, so I don't know whether that's a factor there, whether workers don't generate rock. I'd have to do a little bit more of a test, but you can certainly see we're getting a decent amount of rocks appearing along behind us, so we're going to have to do something to deal with those. Alright, we are underway here. Let's crack into this. We'll throw this onto a little bit of a time lapse and get this all ploughed up, and then once that's done we'll work on whether we spread some lime or whether we're going to make a start on setting up the greenhouses. So we'll catch up with you again very soon. With that, look how much bigger this field has become. I reckon we added 40% area to it. Hard to tell, but even just the headland passes going around it a couple of times, we've added a decent amount, not to mention this grass up here. Like I said earlier, interesting that we have rocks and none in the main field, so I can only assume because we had hired help ploughing that field during the live stream. There we go, we are all done. Now the other thing, look at the mini map, I really like is how that is dynamically updated to show the whole field, and we go in here into the main map, you can see it as well. We hop onto that screen, you can't quite tell, but you can see if we turn off this different tillage types, you can see that whole area now being ploughed is all our field. So that's a really nice little change, or a little addition they have made. So now with that all done, take a quick look. It does need lime, and like 19, the grass being ploughed has given us a fertilizer state, so that's nice. But we will have to get some lime on there and on parts of 80 and 82. So we may go and take a look about leasing a fertilizer spreader to get that done. Well, first I might head down and take a look at where we're going to put our greenhouses and possibly get those put in place so we can get them started and producing some produce. First things first though, we've finished with the subsoiler, so we better put it away clean. Start how we mean to carry on for the rest of our time in FS22. Here we go. Better. Just before we go any further, I just run over here into the field. I thought I noticed this when we were ploughing, but if you have a look down here, I'll just turn the flashlight on. We've got little mushrooms or some sort of fungus growing here in the field. So I don't know what that is all in aid of. It's nothing I've heard giants talking about. So they seem to spawn a little bit like the rocks. I have seen some posts on Facebook about other people discovering them, and yeah, it's just interesting that there's obviously something in those. So it'll be interesting to see whether there is going to be more information added, whether it could be something to do with precision farming or something they've built in the game. They intend to add new mechanic to do with fungus in fields. So that's something to keep an eye on. I thought after I thought I'd spotted them when we were ploughing, but didn't have a chance to come back over and inspect them properly. There they are, little mushrooms or toadstools or some other sort of fungus. So after that little detour to go and check out the fungi, this is where I am planning on putting our greenhouses. We've got a little bit of a rise up there. I think I haven't had to play around with the landscaping tools or anything like that yet, so maybe a good opportunity to get in, flatten some of this ground off here, and then look at putting a couple of greenhouses in. As I understand it, they are just add water, so once we've got those done, we'll have to have a look at buying a water tanker and then going and finding a convenient source of water. Could the water tower provide water? I'm not even sure. We'll have to go and test that out, see if there's a water trigger there. I don't think there is. I haven't heard any talk or seen anyone else try it, but we'll go and check it out. Otherwise, we will go around. There is the pond or lake or lagoon just down there a little bit further that may have a supply of water as well, so we'll try that out. But let's jump into the landscaping tool and see how that all works. So in here under the building section, the very last tab, there's landscaping. We've got 4 options: raise and lower, level, soften, or slope. So we're obviously wanting to go with level. I'm just going to bring up my help menu there, and we're just going to change the cursor shape to square, and we're going to bump the size up there with M. Now I'm assuming if I start there, I can level. I bring that across, level off to that same level where we're starting. To move myself to be able to do that, sure. There we go. I think it looks like it might be all level, so if we just jump out there and take a quick little look, it is indeed leveled off. Quite a height difference, which I was aware of between the two sides, but that's level. So I might just hop out of the way so we can just level a little bit more off, and then we'll place down a couple of greenhouses. Alright, so that looks like it should do for our platform. Now, one little tip I was shown, normally to get to the landscape and build mode, if you go to P and scroll down here on the left, go to the 3 lines, and that gives you your construction option there. However, I've also been told a little shortcut, shift or left shift and P will take you straight into that building and landscaping mode. So that's just a nice little handy shortcut to know. Now if we go to productions and we have greenhouses here, I'm not going to waste any time with the smaller ones. We are going to jump straight into a couple of the larger ones here. Now I had planned on putting 2 side by side across here like that, so we either do it that way, or if I just right click and rotate, the other option is to do them that way and have some sort of access. Now we do need to be able to get to the side of them to clear the pallets. So I think with that in mind, we'll keep them around this way, and then we can have an access across in front of it, and one build further out in front as well, sort of where I'm standing, possibly with some animal enclosures or animal pens or something in the future. So let's just plonk the first one down. I think there is a good looking spot. We are looking at $10,073, so we'll place that one there and come in here with our second one. Let's go take a quick look. Here we go, we can open the doors here. Got our water tank. Storage is empty, no active productions, building storage there. So I think, if there's a door on the back, it does look like there is. Can go the whole way through. So I think the deal now is to take the tractor down. We will go and buy ourselves a water trailer, and we'll go and find the best source for some water. And here we are at Clever Motors. We'll bring up the shop menu there, and under animals we've got a couple of options for water trailers. So we obviously have the Joskin Aquatrans there, 7,300 litres, just takes water. The other 2 trailers here, the MK's 8,000 litres, so not much bigger, does allow us to carry other liquids, as does the MK's 32, but that's obviously for a truck. So I think the best option is going to be to get the Joskin. So let's just take a quick look in here. We do have some options for wheels. It's $500 there for some wider wheels. Let's have a quick look through. It really is either the standard trailer bogs or wider in the other range. So I think let's go with these Friedestein. I think that would be the best way to pronounce it. That's at $10,000, and that will leave us $391,000, which will be enough to still buy that field of soybeans. Now the other thing while we're here, I was going to look at front loader tools and see what we have in way of pallet forks to help deal with our pallets when they're there. So the Albert pallet forks there, $1,700. So we might as well buy those. I did leave the bale fork we had, bale grab, behind. So here we go. Let's go and check these out and get them hooked up onto the tractor. There we go, everything all hooked up, the bale forks there on the front, trailer on the rear. Now I'm just going to take a quick look at the map and try and figure out the best place to get some water. We do have a pond over there. I'm not sure if that's accessible. We could go check that out. So I've got a pond there, and the one I was thinking we'd go and try down the bottom there. I do know that up at this bridge here there is a little ford crossing. I expect you'd probably be able to pick up some water out of that. But I think we'll head down this way. We'll check out this one on the way past. But our main target is to go and try the larger pond down there and see if we can get some water into it. And we will go and check out the water tower on the way back. But like I said before, I don't think there is a water fill trigger with that. It would be nice if there was. I do know that there is a placeable fire hydrant which has been added onto ModHub, so perhaps we could place one of those next to the water towers and use that as a bit of role play that we were filling up out of the water tower. But here we are, left down here, and we'll go and take a look at some of these other spots, see if we can get some water filled up. But the first little pond here on our way down, we'll try and back in. It used to be you could back into a pond and start filling. Not sure if there is a requirement to open anything. Have a look there. I can't see any option. If we're on the trailer, no option there to open or close the open and close the trailer. Oh, there we go. I just hadn't backed up far enough to get into a trigger. So there we go. We are filling up out of this pond, which is good. So I think let's just get 30% for now, and we'll carry on down to the other one and make sure we can use that as well. Indeed, we can fill up down here at this other lake as well. I did try next to this valve assembly in front of us. I thought it'd be worth a go, but it is not for filling from. We do have that other assembly over here actually. Let's go and try that and see if that is a fill point. No, it doesn't seem to be any trigger there for water. So it is further down beside it. So I'm assuming we actually have to be backed into the water to fill up. So we'll just back in here. And there we are. Deep enough to be able to get the rest of the tank filled up. So, get this full and head back down to try figure out how to put it into the greenhouses. So we're just down here at the greenhouses. I didn't even need to back in next to it. There we are, we have our water trigger. Not quite sure how much water it takes. I am only going to half fill it so we can at least put 50% in each of the two greenhouses, get them both started, and then once we've figured out how much we need, we can go and get some more, get it all topped up. There we go, that is water in and going. So let's just take a look at our production menu now and see if that has changed anything. So here in the production chains you can see our two large greenhouses. We have got them inactive at the moment. Got 3,600 litres of water, which does not look like very much. I'm going to guess that's about a fifth of the water capacity, so there might be 15 or so thousand litres in each one. But they're both exactly the same, and see there. So if we just click here, we can activate. Now we can actually specify to only produce one thing. Not sure if we can do two at once. We can do two at once. So let's just take a quick look. Strawberries, we double up on our water, so for the input we'll get twice as many strawberries out. Lettuces is half as much, and tomatoes are 1 for 1. So on that basis, I would expect in our prices, if tomatoes are our base point, lettuce for less output should be double, and strawberries about half. So let's go and have a look at that. So tomatoes here as our base point. Let's look at Johnson's Farmers Market 1,045. The others between 800 to 930. So that's a bit of a higher point. So lettuce should be about double that from our inputs, and indeed it is, even more than double that. 2,200, over 2,200 there at the Red Marble Bowling Restaurant. And strawberries, I'm guessing, will be around that 500. There they are. So the prices reflect roughly the amount of input that is required when we look at the water here and what we will get out of that water. So there's really probably no benefit to mixing up what we do. Obviously strawberries we can use if we were to buy the cake or the bakery to make cakes. So I think we might leave one producing one and one producing something else, or we might just double up and produce both. In fact, I'm going to deactivate the strawberries there on that one. One on tomatoes, one on lettuce, because obviously we don't need them for the production points. And therefore, we'll be able to compare once we've used the same amount of water in both. 3,647 litres in that one, and pretty much exactly the same in this one. So, we'll be able to compare our profits between the lettuce and tomatoes once we've gone through all that water. We do have it set to storing, and we could click there and change the output mode. I'll do that on lettuce, change it to selling. We obviously don't want it selling or distributing. We're going to put it into storing, and then we can go and sell that ourselves. There we go. And now that we've come out of here, everything looks to be growing. We've got some nice looking tomato plants here in this one, because that's what we've asked it to grow. Come over here, got some lettuces growing in this one as well. So that's a good setup. Next step, I think, to make sure we're maximising these, we're just going to spend a little bit of time running back and forth with water. No, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave them to use the water we've got and see where we end up once we're done. So we'll park up the trailer. We will go and just check that there's no trigger on the water tower. Like I said, I don't expect there to be one, but we better go and test it. And once we've done that, we'll take a look at what we're going to do next, whether we're going to spread some lime today or not. I've just backed in here, and look at that. The water towers do provide water. You can hear it filling up, and you can see there on the bottom right that our water volume is going up. So that is fantastic news actually. How easy does that make it? Like I said, I had no idea. I didn't actually expect that they would have put a water trigger on those water towers. So that's going to make it very easy to keep our greenhouses up and going and supplied. So we've actually picked probably almost the best spot possible to build them. So with that full, we'll leave that there. I think that's going to be a great place to park it. And let's go, and I think now we will go and take a look at spreading some lime and getting these fields just a step closer to being ready for planting again. Another trip here to Clever Motors today, and we're going to take a look at some lime spreaders. We do double check the used vehicle sales, nothing in there that one we can afford or two that we need. So if we come in here under fertilizer spreaders, by default we only have two options of the two Breedle spreaders. Neither of the Amazons will spread lime. There is a couple of mods which have come out, the Kverneland, which was part of the Kverneland DLC pack that was released for FS19 and has been brought across into FS22 by Giants, but again fertilizer only, and this Sulky spreader is also fertilizer only. So we're going to go here with the smaller of the two. This should be more than enough for the fields we're doing. I'm not going to spend too much because we are only going to lease it. I'm going to put a small extension on it, and we're going to bump it up to the wider spreading units, which gives us a lease cost of $2,700. I'll just double check what sort of difference that made. $2,300. It's only about a $400 extra to get the wider spreaders, so we'll go with that. Get that leased and hooked up to the tractor. Now, I didn't bother buying any lime from the shop because one of our previous trips here to the grain silos, we discovered there was a lime refill point. So we're going to go and try that out. Not sure how much it is going to cost us to fill the lime spreader, or how much we're going to need. Obviously we don't have any benefit of the variable spray mod was available for 19, or at least it's not in 22 yet, so we're going to have to be putting this on at default rates. But these opposite here, the silo here, is a lime supply point. So if we just pull in here underneath, hit refill, and void of any animation here on the auger, but we are filling up. And our money doesn't seem to be going down too fast, so it's certainly not going to cost us too much. Depends on how far it all goes, of course, in getting spread on our fields. There we go, $1,979 for 11,000 litres of lime, so about $190 or so, a little bit less than $190 for 1,000 litres. Seeing as we are going to come across this field first, makes sense, we will start in here. So our biggest field, so we're more likely to use a full spreaders load in here, and we can then buy or guess more appropriately on the smaller fields how much we might need. There we go. I'm just going to bring the mini-map back up and use that for our heading of 270, and then I know we'll be running pretty parallel to the edge of the field here. But this is all starting off very nicely. Must admit, I am impressed with the animations or particle effects there on the lime spreader. Much more realistic as a fine lime powder than the chunky texture which was used in 19. Still giving the field quite a dusting. It's quite a vivid white there that we get on there, but I suppose that's not Not too much of a worry, it is what it is, and there's no arguments about what part of the field you've covered with lime. So I'm just going to carry on, we'll get this done, and we'll touch base again with how much we've got done with one load and when we have to head down and fill back up. We've managed to make it a decent way across this field with just the one tank full. We have, what, 8% left, so hopefully we'll get this run done and then we'll be able to go and fill up again, but we should, with one more load, should be able to get this field easily finished, obviously, and get everything done over at the main yard and the other smaller fields. In fact, I'd probably expect we'll have some left over, but it's worked out pretty well to get this run all finished, just as we're about to run out. So, no point doing a small piece, we'll get that folded up and we'll head back over to the refill point, get another load and come and get all of this finished off. And we're just getting the spreader here filled up again, almost full. There we go, we're all ready to go. So get over that last little piece finished off and then go down to the smaller fields, and we've managed to get those done in one pass, I expect. They are not very wide or very big. Just one last little piece in this field and we will be all done. There we go, and another third of the tank gone. But that will leave us more than enough to do the other fields, so we'll just follow this tram line back out of the field and we'll head over the road, down the track to the yard. We'll just pull in here and get unfolded. We're not quite going to be able to do the full width. I was a little optimistic to think the spreader was that wide or that the fields were that narrow, but it should only take a pass in each direction and we'll be done. Just this little strip through the middle and just a little bit of the end of the field there. We've got enough. I might as well run over that field. I'm not sure if preempting requiring lime will nullify the fact we'll have to do it again in the future. I'm not actually sure. I haven't done any research into it, but I did understand that they'd changed the way that cloud state worked. It doesn't have to be after every 3 crops like it did in FS22. It's just after certain crops such as corn, potatoes, sugar beets, those kind of crops. I'm not sure whether the liming requirement is every 3 or 4 crops like it was previously, or whether it relates to what you've had in the field previously. But there we go, that is all done. Got 3,500 litres, so we'll just pull over here, see if we can unload that and put it away in storage. Indeed we can. There we go, we've got those 2 bags of lime. We'll just turn things off there, and I think we'll leave that for now and get it returned to the dealer. We can do that, and we'll get that returned to the dealer. Don't need to do that during the episode. We'll do that once we're all finished up. There's our lime. But another productive episode, they always seem to be, and lots of learnings, lots of interesting things to find out. Great to be able to get here into the greenhouses, some lettuces and some tomatoes growing, and who knew that the water tower actually supplied water. I thought that was a great little touch, and like I said, was entirely unexpected. I did not expect to be able to drive up to a water tower and actually get water. But there we are. That is another episode of Elm Creek done and dusted. So I hope you've all enjoyed that. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.